Hey, my name is Eric Mathis. I am the co-founder and director of the Institute for Regenerative Design and Innovation. Our organization is a part of an umbrella movement called Renew Forsyth throughout the city. I want to welcome you to Winston-Salem, the city of arts and innovation. What I mean by that is we're going to take a journey of how we're building our city to begin developing a food innovation district. Winston-Salem has the largest urban integrated innovation district in the country, so we want to leverage that asset for combating poverty, health disparities throughout the city. So the way that we're doing that is we have four components, primary components of the food innovation district, which is first our food production hub, which is the Triad Farmers Network.
All right, so my name is Aaron Sally, born and raised in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, co-owner of Granville District Farms, which is a farm, a small 2-acre farm that I started with two of my closest friends. Initially, how it came about, my father, Hashim Sally, was a gardener who grew food for our family just to eat at dinner, and he ended up passing away in the end of November due to cancer. So I was living in Georgia, moved here to North Carolina, and kind of took over his businesses. Granville Mobile Market, initially we wanted to buy from local gardeners to kind of encourage people to grow more, but then resell the food in the community. We wanted to take the model of the ice cream truck, which if you're from the community, you know the ice cream truck comes through the neighborhood during the summer, kids run out and they can purchase their favorite ice cream. We wanted to do the same thing, but instead of ice cream, we would be providing fresh fruits and vegetables, to try and create healthier diets in our neighborhood. So the mobile truck, we're looking to expand on that now, and hopefully within a year from now, we'll have 2 to 3 trucks. We've been blessed to be able to use the Hope of Winston-Salem truck starting out. But as our initial phase is over with, we're looking to gain funding to get our own trucks and kind of expand our business. Where we're trying to create this green economy, which is green jobs. We're farmers, which some people consider, I guess, boots on the ground. We're in the community, we're growing in the dirt, we're actually harvesting the food and delivering it to the restaurants, or delivering it to the people. What I've noticed since I've been here is there's a disconnect between the folks that are boots on the ground and the resources. We are the green economy, we grow, we're in the dirt, we don't have an ego, and we want to work. And anybody who has that same goal and vision, we want to connect with.
The other one is a food hub with our partner Shared Co-op. Their role is to primarily aggregate food and distribute that food through the entire regenerative agriculture supply chain.
Well, my name is Reverend Willard Bass. I'm the co-founder of the Shared Cooperative for Winston-Salem. The cooperative was actually founded on the need for providing access to healthy, reasonable price, and nutritional food. We made our connection with a couple of local farmers, Granville being one of them. We're committed to providing livable wage jobs, but also to provide opportunities for our black farmers to have a place where they can provide the food to our market. We also believe that a food network is necessary, and that we are glad to be a part of this network. New Forsyth is a vision, right? But within the vision there is some context. And the context of the vision is the pieces, right? And New Forsyth then has the pieces that are identified, right? It has the greenhouse, it has the farmers network, right? It has the educational network, right? It has the food aggregation network, right? It has all of the components, if you will, right? And so then the work has to be around the sectors. And so New Forsyth is the same kind of thing. It has structure now, it's beginning to take structure. And so people will have to begin to live into those roles and further identify other resources and work as a team, collaboratively, to make sure things get done.
And the final component, which is where I'm hanging my hat on, is the entrepreneurial hub, which is at the greenhouse. We're working with many entrepreneurs to where they're developing food-based products to where they can launch successful products and get it up on shelves at local markets and in chefs' hands, to where those chefs are able to make really good food throughout our city.
Oh, well, I'm Camille Lancaster. I'm a co-owner of the greenhouse, and the greenhouse is a operation here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We have two things that we focus on, really. We love plant-based items. We are a retail store, but we also grow entrepreneurs. And they've created these plant-based products, but they don't have any place to display the products or distribute the products. So that's where the greenhouse comes in. We offer them a way to bring their products to us. We help them with marketing, labels, anything that they need as far as to grow their business. Those things are important to me, to be able to have a say in how food is distributed right here in Winston-Salem, and to teach people how to eat from the earth. The greenhouse is the partner for the Food Innovation District. We're the hub. We're like the, I guess, kind of like the last stop. All of the pieces come together, from the Farmers Network, Shared Co-op, the Happy Hill Gardens. There's a story behind what we're trying to do that makes a lot of sense, that's relative, that's needed. What I like about my partner, William, he has a juice business, and his juice, again, is plant-based. And so he's able to go to the garden and get fresh beets, get other types of plants, get cilantro, get basil. And why not use those things? Why go and get those things from places where they're shipped over, from other countries? We don't need to go to another country. We have what we need right here in the United States. And we have it right here, really, in North Carolina. North Carolina has really good fertile ground, can grow just about anything.
Hello, my name is William Fulton. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I grew up in an area called Happy Hill Projects. I'm actually working with Renew Forsyth. We're actually working from the soil up. So we're putting micronutrients into the soil. So we're actually creating a vegetable, a fruit that is more dense than the average. I'm using those type of products in my juices, which I am the owner and founder of the Hugo Bar. So we're doing things that not only is going to be good during this pandemic time, but we're doing something that's going to really put something back into their bodies. We're using things like with carrots, growing carrots, with more vitamin dense than the average. We're doing things with the beets. So this is not just a typical beet. This is a beet with a lot of dense vitamins into it. And although I'm using a mango, but with this I'm using a bell pepper that was grown in a micronutrient soil. So it's gonna be more powerful, as well as a sage, and this blackberry sage that's gonna give you a more bang for your buck. As well as with some of the pure juices that I do. This is a pure 24 karat, and this is a pure beet blend. So we're here to make a difference in our community. I say one bottle at a time. So with Renew Forsyth and Happy Hill Gardens, we're going back now and actually creating things that was displaced. So we're going back in and putting fruits, the apple trees, the things back into the community. So this is how all of this is tying together, one entrepreneur at a time.
The other component is that is linked to the Food Innovation District is the Career Center, which is kind of our school hub. It's the hub for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system. And we're beginning with the culinary class with food and starting a farm-to-table curriculum to where the kids are learning the supply chain from soil to food and growing bionutrient food. And from there, we're beginning to integrate the garden into all kinds of curriculum, all the way from physics to math to construction to primarily focused on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
So I am Chef E-Step here at the Career Center Culinary Arts Program. We offer a curriculum that's based on all basic cooking skills for the students. And then we've actually integrated now the agriculture side of growing food, nutrient side of growing food, food science. We have now a food lab that's connected onto our kitchen. And what we do is we have our garden out here at Career Center Kennedy campus. And what we do is we grow food and then we bring it into our labs. We can test it, we can test the nutrients on it, and then we can also make it to where we can cook food for the community. Not only is there this one community garden here at this campus, but there's multiple gardens across the city. So we're connected with the Triad Farmers Network, and that's where everybody has their community gardens, and then we all combine and come together. You know, we showed how the store to plate worked, where it's bionutrient food, and then you buy it and you eat it, you harvest it, you compost it, and then it goes back into the ground, and then it starts all over again. That I want students to be able to know that you can do this on your own, and they can actually go out and change the community, not just us. If you just take a look at what we're doing here in Winston-Salem, and you know, the efforts that we're putting towards trying to make this a better place, everybody else should just jump on board.
The final component is what all those center around is. Where we're at right now is Happy Hill Garden. Happy Hill Garden was the first African-American community in Winston-Salem, and arguably in terms of population density, the first African-American community of its kind in North Carolina. So what we're doing here is rethinking about how urban design can occur from the bottom up, to where the community members are actually active stakeholders and designing their community. If they want shop spaces for entrepreneurs, if they want low-income housing, if they want playgrounds, if they want multiple gardens throughout the community, it would be a co-design process with the city and the community stakeholders themselves.
Welcome to Happy Hill. This is my favorite place in the world. I was born in Winston-Salem. My name is Amatullah Salim. My whole family was born here in Virginia, and they work for R.J. Reynolds. And this whole neighborhood is one of the outcomes of tobacco money coming into our neighborhood and making us a wonderful place to live, with children going to the best schools, and Winston-Salem State College and Salem College and North Carolina School of the Arts. It's a wonderful place. This landscape is beautiful. The only thing is, we have a challenge right now. We have to bring this neighborhood, Happy Hill, back into its former thriving state. This is a wonderful challenge that we're trying to meet, the restoration of Happy Hill. Happy Hill is the area that former slaves came when they were first set free and built beautiful communities. And these communities, this is the first black community that was an anchor or birth of all the other communities of Winston-Salem. So I moved into this area when I retired, and I'm now the president of the Happy Hill Neighborhood Association. We formed this association because we saw needs that were not being met. Our actual end game is to have a multicultural center where we would have gardening, arts, education, adult education, resiliency, all of the things that this community used to have. It used to have a theater, it had a skating rink, it had hairdressers, barbershops. We want all of those things back in this community. So we want to bring other businesses in to the community, so we'll have property tax so that we can build new housing, moderate to low income housing, so the people who were displaced can come back into their Happy Hill community. Sometimes they don't want to come back into our communities because there's nothing there. We want to create a community that has anything you want to be or want to do. You can come to Happy Hill and do it. We have a wonderful garden that we started. We hope that will be a focus garden for the rest of the community to see this is what a prosperous garden looks like.
Hi, my name is Brenda Taylor, and I'm a former resident of Happy Hill Garden. It was such a wonderful community in the sense of having families. There were more men in Happy Hill at that time, working men with their families and what have you. The homes were beautiful. Everyone had little gardens out in the front. They kept up their property. After moving away and working and what have you, and after retiring, I connected with Amatula through a friend, and she found out that I liked gardening. And she said, well, come on down, because we have this garden in Happy Hill Garden, and come on down and work with us. And so I was excited about that. Went down to the garden, and we began to work on just a small team, maybe about 5 or 6 of us. We began to work on it. The one thing about Happy Hill Community Garden is it's such a spiritual and special place. And being in a garden has a resilience and rejuvenation anyway, just by standing on the soil. The garden has also become the center point of our collaboration. We are working with the entrepreneurs of where they have come down this summer and gotten some of our produce to make juices. We've worked with Granville Farms, and I can't say how much they have helped us greatly. I definitely think and feel that a garden pulls everything together and can make this space be what it once was, a productive community. And if governments and cities and communities all across this nation look at Happy Hill Garden, it is a model for success. When your weakest link is strong, how strong is the rest of the chain?
And what we hope to happen with Happy Hill is it would become a resilient community, and then we would be able to link our partnership with Project Reentry and form an incarceration to resilient community pipeline to reduce overall recidivism, creating a nice soft landing pad for folks that are either formerly homeless and getting housed, or folks that are formerly incarcerated and coming into a community. And what that looks like, if I live here in Happy Hill and many other neighbors that we've connected, that person, if they came and lived in this neighborhood, we would have very rich support networks that would support them.
Project Reentry, it started in 2003 as a result of a training, and it was an action plan. And I was one of 5 people selected in the state of North Carolina to do this. So when I moved down here, all the former offenders, anybody with a criminal record would refer to me. No resources wanted to work with them because they felt they didn't know how. So they all came to me, and they were very ill-prepared. They thought I could just give them a job and I can give them all these things, and I couldn't. And I didn't understand where all that came from. And so I talked to some folks in the Department of Correction, which is the Department of Public Safety now, and asked, can we somehow communicate? Because I don't know who's coming to me, and they are expecting things that I cannot deliver. That's when we came up with the idea of building a bridge. And that bridge is our logo, and it is connecting the inside to the outside, but also the outside to the inside. And what I mean by that is we go into the prisons, we're there 1 day a week for an hour and a half, and we do a 16-week program of bringing in community resources and really doing a lot of cognitive behavioral work. We do a lot about attitude. We do a lot about accountability and just being real. And we're wanting to give them the real information, the true information that's out in this community, so they don't come out misguided.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Michael Thomas of Project Reentry. I've been with Project Reentry now 16 and a half years. Nothing else I'd rather do. And the large part of the reasoning behind that is because I was incarcerated myself. But it didn't discourage me. I knew my opportunity was on the horizon, and lo and behold, I knocked on a door that afforded me an opportunity to become a receptionist. And little did I know at the time, I got hired by an organization who had never hired a convicted felon before. Lo and behold, that was very telling to me. And one thing led to another in that position, and I met the director and co-founder of Project Reentry at that time. So off I went to work for Dear Itachi and was about to get hired on there full time when Rebecca Sauter reached out to me and offered me 29 hours a week to come to work for Project Reentry, where I could work with the guys and the gals prior to their release and then have the opportunity to work with them as well once they reached the community, I was excited. I had to accept those 29 hours, hands down, turn down a full-time job, and I haven't looked back since. I've enjoyed this work because it's my passion. Project Reentry is such an organization that we want to embody the resiliency model. We want folks to be able to understand that they are not alone upon their release, that they are connected with not only Project Reentry post-release services, but that we're connected with other organizations that's tying in the ability to incorporate resiliency into moving forward in your life. You have neighbors that are also about the resiliency model. You have communities that are about the resiliency model. In other words, you do not have to do this alone.
Hi, my name is Tamaya Falatogo, and I work with the Forsyth County Reentry Council in collaboration with Project Reentry, and also with Forsyth Probation. I've been here 3 years. I decided to do this work because I also am a former justice-involved individual, and so that's where my passion for this work comes from. I do know how it feels to get out and have limited resources or don't know about resources or just have no support system. So this is why I'm here. I think that this work, I can connect with my participants because I've been there before. Everything is not about addictions or domestic violence. A lot of people are in the game, aka the criminal system or criminal mindset, for money. So I know that a lot of people I work with, that is their motivation. And so I can understand that, and I can also relate to it and try to get them to see the long haul repercussions of that instead of the instant. I try to work with participants to think in a bigger scale and to see like, okay, you made all this money, but then when you get convicted and incarcerated, if you break it down in numbers, you really worked minimum wage. So I have to start talking like number-wise to them and, you know, like the benefits of, yes, it might be whatever an hour versus what you used to make, but then here you get credit, you can get your own place, you can prove no one can take it from you, you can get taxes, you don't have to live paranoid all the time, wondering is this the day you're gonna open the door and it's the cop, or this day the cop's gonna kick your door in, you know, and you don't have to keep starting over and starting over and starting over. I try to get them to see like the skill sets that they have. They can be transferable into legal work. So if you're a drug dealer, you have sales, you have customer service, you know how to network. And so I try to like show them how that can be transferred over.
Hello, my name is Tanya Foltz. I'm with Project Family. I started Project Family because of my own incarceration and what my children went through. Children should not have to experience the choices of their parents, the poor choices. I still deal with a lot of that sometimes. It's been a long road. I've been out 15 years now, but some of that trauma that I experienced still comes up every so often, so I have to really work through that. Project Reentry, because I've been here for 15 years, has really helped me heal as a person, and then Project Family has helped me heal as a mom because of so many things that I carried. The fault, the shame, not being there for my kids. Every poor choice I made was my fault. So having to work through all of that has been extremely challenging, but now I'm able to help other families that are going through the same things that I have, and to know that it's going to be okay. We just have to focus on the kids and what is the best interest for those kids.
Well, my name is Michael Hayes. I am the Executive Director of Umoja Health, Wellness, and Justice Collective, which is in Asheville, North Carolina. I am originally from Winston-Salem, but I moved to Asheville when I turned, I guess around 8 or 9 years old. Everything we do is wrapped around being trauma responsive and resiliency focused. I came up with Umoja a few years out of prison, started about 2 years ago. And I started it because I wanted people to get an understanding of what healing can look like. I just happened to go to a camp in Salisbury, and the nurse had 3 pieces of paper on her door that talked about trauma. And well, the last piece of paper talked about resiliency. And I was like, oh, trauma and resiliency, trauma and resiliency. So I'm asking everybody to send me stuff. And while I was in prison, I was asking my wife, like, send me whatever you can about trauma and resiliency. So I started learning, man, and it was, it changed my life. It saved my life. I got out in 2017. I got out 2017. And I started working for Green Opportunities. While I was working at Green Opportunities, I was doing workforce development, and the part that I didn't see is, like, we would get people jobs, but we wouldn't teach people how to keep jobs. We never talked about social intelligence. We never talked about how to address those things that keeps hindering people. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have a plan to the backup plan to the backup plan, and nobody wanted to address that. So I started, like, how can we do this the right way? About 6 weeks into working at Green Opportunities, I got invited to what they call the ACE Collaborative in Buncombe County. I went to the ACE Collaborative, and I was, like, blown away because they were talking about the average childhood experience survey. But more than that, they was talking about what resilience looked like, the ability to bounce back from hard things, right? So I met my good friend Ann Dupree at the coalition, and she said, Michael, I would love for you to come take this training. It's called Resource for Resiliency, and the training is called Reconnect for Resilience. So I took the training, and it was man, it was an eye opener for me. It was a game changer. It spoke to my spirit. So I took that course, and then another one came around. So I took the training again. I did that training 7 times. 7 times. After the 7th time, and I was like, answering all the questions, I kept raising my hand. After the 7th time, Ann Dupree said, Michael, I would love for you to be a trainer because you have so many stories, and you get this and you share. So I became a trainer. I've been a trainer now for 2 years. I had the opportunity to train hundreds of people in resiliency tools with the Reconnect for Resiliency tool. The organization that I run is I actually run it because I'm a resiliency educator, and I saw how powerful it was for me. So I wanted to share with everybody else.
So to explain what Renew Forsyth is, one is a lot of the organizations throughout the city that are doing a lot of good work are typically working in silos. Some of the organizations have done a really good job in breaking down those silos and starting building collaboration. So following in their footsteps, a lot of the organizations we work with want to create an umbrella brand, Renew Forsyth, for describing the movement of renewal for our city. And if a lot of this is exciting to you in terms of, like, how all the moving pieces are coming together, particularly moving up to our launch, you can log on to our website and sign up for monthly updates, or if you really want to pop the hood and learn about all the moving parts, and particular on how you may be able to develop a similar initiative in your own community, go to our Patreon site, and where we'll have a lot of videos and Q&As on all the ins and outs, the blueprint of how we're developing Renew Forsyth in Winston-Salem.